Hello and welcome to another episode of Ties vs. Dyes, the channel where we discuss the ins and outs of tie-dye application. We'll be discussing some new styles and new fashions and new techniques, so stay tuned. Hopefully something valuable is in it for pros and beginners alike, and so let's get down to business. And right here we're getting ready, prepping our 8-sided Mandela. This is going to be the front piece on our current tie-dye application. Right here we are using the iron, the little mini iron, to heat set those lines and heat set those folds. That way we get a more defined and sharp finish. And for this it is going to be an 8-pointed Mandela, so that would be, you guessed it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 folds, 4 on each side before meeting in the center, and then coming together as you see here. So with these folds you want to keep them equally spaced. It helps if you use a washable marker to map out design prior to actually starting the folds. It helps in the later steps. And again, another tip right here is to use a piece of binder paper or a printer paper, to go ahead and separate the material, the fabric, from the heat. It just helps out a lot than actually hitting the actual shirt with the iron. I don't recommend doing that, and so I do definitely recommend using something to separate, maybe even parchment paper. And so right here you'll see that we binder clipped up the fold. That way we could start at the base and work our way up, and these you want to do 45-degree angles up, as you see me doing here. And you just start at the very end of the Mandela, where that's going to be the outer layer, and that's going to be where you put down your first layer of twine or kite string or whatever it may be used that you use to bind up your shirt. And this is what it should look like right here. This is the perfect application. This is the perfect finish. This is what you want to aim for. And yeah, so just, practice makes perfect, so just keep that in mind. And so we're going on to the next part of the shirt now, which is going to be our hourglass spine. And this is one of my favorite folds to do, is for the back of the shirt. And yeah, I think it comes out looking really cool. And yeah, there it is right there, the hourglass spine. And you fold the shirt in half, and then you come in at a angle from the center point up to the outer shoulder, and then you fold, or you tie that off, and you want to keep that line drawn, and you want to keep that line as straight as possible, because that's going to be where you define the hourglass, and that's how the whole hourglass shape comes in. And it's, other than that, it's just a fan fold up. Keep your folded sections into equal increments as much as possible, as much as you can. Try to keep them and right here you could see that we've done that very nicely. It's easiest when you have a slightly damp shirt. Let's say maybe 25 to 30% damp, 70 to 75% dry is a good ratio for folding the shirt and actually having it retain the shape without too much effort on your part. And right here we're using fishing line, a really thin gauge fishing line. It's not the strongest stuff, but it is very, very durable nonetheless, to where you don't have to go with a heavy gauge. The really light thin gauge works out best in my opinion, because it does not constrict the fabric like some of the thicker stuff, and it is flexible still, and it leaves a lot of sponginess in the shirt. And be careful when you're tying these off. You don't want to go too hard on the constricting of it, so you want to leave a little bit of play. You just want to have it be in that magic point where it's just tight enough. And so right here we're going with the half Mandela for the sleeves, and because we did the mirror fold, both sleeves are in this one section, and then we're just going to copy the same initial fold that we did at the beginning for the front of the shirt. You just fold that into equal parts, iron it down to keep that real sharp line, and then you go ahead and tie off the back end where you want that to be the start and stop point of your Mandela, or your half Mandela rather. And then you just work those 45-degree angle ties up to the center point, and that's a good rule of thumb for that. And so Again, don't try to constrict it too much, don't try to make it too tight, but you want it tight enough for the detail lines to show up at the end of your dye application. And so yeah, so right here we are scrunching up the remainder of the shirt. The shirt's broken into 3 equal parts right here. We have the hourglass spine, the 8-sided Mandela for the centerpiece, and then for the sleeves we're utilizing the half Mandela fanfold. So, or well, no, it's the half Mandela rather. And so right here, yeah, I like to just scrunch it up. I like to scrunch up the rest of the shirt, as you can see here. And let's get into the dye application. And so right here we're going with lemon yellow first to kick things off. I really like to use the brighter, lighter colors initially. And for this particular design, I really wanted there to be emphasis on the brighter colors. And so I'm trying to actually go with the lemon yellow first, and I'm going to go pretty heavy with this, as you can see here. And again, if you follow these steps and if you utilize the tying methods that I'm letting you know, as you notice here, the shirt will absorb a very good amount of dye to where it's literally like a sponge right now. It's just soaking up that dye in a very positive and a very effective way, which is what you want to aim for, and it'll give you the best results at the end, no doubt. And so right here I'm just going over each tie line. That way when I do add the next rounds of dye, there will be hopefully a clear indication on where each different color is starting and stopping, as well as new color combos that come into play with the color palette that I'm using. And so that's why I'm going over each of these ties, not every single one, but a lot of them, with this lemon yellow, because I really wanted the lemon yellow tone to pop out at the end. And then right here I'm going over the rest of the scrunch, just in following some of those detail lines right there, and I'll just pick out certain ones and then follow those and then just go over them, repeat them, just applying more and more dye, because you think that you've applied enough dye, but really you haven't. So go heavy. When you think you're done, apply more, because you need to apply more, trust me. And as you can see, there's no dye being wasted at this point. It's literally all just being soaked up through the shirt, and that's one of the big benefits of using this tying method, is that your dye absorption is very where you want it to be at. It's very much working with you, I would say, and so keep that in mind. And so I actually lost a part of my video clip here, and so you didn't get to see me putting the neon green, the fuchsia pink, and the royal blue down, but those are the 3 colors that I had applied after the lemon yellow. And I think I did neon green, fuchsia, and then royal blue, and so you'll see that those colors I already applied them down. And right here I'm coming with aquamarine, which is one of my favorite blue colors. It really pops a lot, and it's really bold, and it really goes good, especially when it meets that yellow that we laid down earlier. As long as you mix it right, keep it boiling hot water, and maybe 22 to 10 ratio, maybe 3 to 10 ratio if you wanted a little bit more boldness in it. Right here we're going with the violet purple, and then coming back again with fuchsia pink. And I went with violet purple on this one because, again, I was trying to use a more vibrant color palette, and at the end of it you'll see that violet purple really pop out, and I was really happy that we went with that. And so for the scrunch part of the shirt, you want to just kind of be creative with it. For sure be generous with the dye application, but you want to be having a good time and just randomly putting down different spots of dye, because the scrunch is going to really utilize that and look cool at the end. And the 2 other colors we added right here, we're using peacock green right now, and we're also alternating with emerald green with that peacock green, and hopefully that'll accent that neon green, which is actually a glow-in-the-dark blacklight neon green. And so yeah, we're going heavy with the peacock green. It's probably one of the darker colors in this palette that we've chosen, and the reason why we chose that is because of all the greens and the yellows and blues that mixed. I wanted a darker color to break the brighter color palettes and the more vibrant colors, and that peacock green is a really dark, deep color, but it looks very vibrant and bold at the same time when you let it set and react to the shirt properly and bond to the shirt properly. And so don't try to rush it, just take your time with it, as you see me doing here, and really be generous with it, especially in the scrunch. And don't be afraid to actually get up into the shirt. You know, if you have to, you know, wiggle it around, loosen it up, and get up into the folds and into the cracks and crevices, because you really want to get those saturated. That's going to be you know, the goal ultimately, is to get full saturation in order to get something that you're going to be happy with at the end. And honestly, I really go heavy on the dye here, and I could have even went a little bit heavier, you know. So, you know, it's all beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But here we go. This is the finished product right here. This is that Hourglass spine fold, and look at that. I think it looks terrific, and you could see right where the scrunch comes into play, right on the ends of those, that Hourglass. And then here is that 8-pointed Mandela that I was telling you about, and notice that violet purple right there, also coming in with that royal blue right around it, and then the neon green, and then that fuchsia pink with that aquamarine. And I think it looked really good. It came out really good. I was happy with it. The shirt stayed very vibrant even after it dried and was washed. This is it right here when it's finished, and it's very vibrant. And so I hope you can accomplish the same things. If you need any help, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please don't hesitate. Let me know. Like and subscribe, comment, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for sharing your time, and we hope you enjoyed the video. We hope you learned something. Remember, just get out there and you know, start tie-dye the world, and we will talk to you soon. We hope you learned something. All right, well, thank you for your time again. All right, well, we love you. Bye-bye.